with love. We're all doing what we can to get by. I really hope that people see Kurt in a good light. Just a guy with his music who made a good contribution, and we'll keep it at that.
I would just hope that he'd be remembered more as not just as a musician or someone that, flamed out, dying of a drug overdose, but somebody that was artistic, that did a lot of paintings, that did a lot of writing, that cared about other people, and things that are going on in the world, not just himself.
I remember him as a good kid, is the way I remember him. He always helped around here when he lived with us. Oh, he was a good kid.
They say, like, whenever, like, they play, like, Smells Like Teen Spirit on the radio, and, like, they get so many phone calls. I was like, what was that,
It's almost like it's a new band.
Yeah, because it still sounds really fresh,
But I think it's safe to say that what Nirvana meant to us when they first came around, it's exactly the same to these kids.
Yeah.
And for music to transcend like that, that is such a gift. That is such an amazing feat, And as much as I like a lot of music around at the moment, there's none of these people can even touch Kurt.
I think the greatest honor to Kurt Cobain when we think of him is really the music, is to listen to his music and to realize that he put himself into those grooves.
My girl, don't lie to me. Tell me, where did you sleep last night? Come on, tell me, baby.
But had he lived, what might the future have held for Kurt? How would he have progressed musically? Could he have coped and adapted, channeled his energies into other music forms?
Kurt always says he'd be happy to be as successful as Sonic Youth and just have a career, which, Sonic Youth has been very successful in doing exactly what they want to do and having a career for, 20 years. I think Kurt would have been very satisfied, artistically and otherwise, to have that sort of longevity. And, as it all turned out, it exploded and got out of control.
But burdened with the unwanted cross of being hailed as a spokesman for a generation, it was a cross simply too heavy for Kurt to bear.
Bob Dylan, he was given that voice of a generation. He passed it off because who's gonna take that on, and pull it off without being some total megalomaniac.
The question we ultimately ask whenever we say, well, is he worth these accolades? Is he worth this kind of treatment and reverence? Really what we're asking ourselves is, what would he have done if he hadn't died? Would we think what he was doing now, 10 years later, was as good as Nevermind? And we would be measuring him against that. I like to think that whatever he was going through, whatever he had stopped doing, he was entirely capable of starting it again.
That's the only thing that's always struck me, is that the body of work was so small that it's hard for me to see how you can actually put it in the same class as something like the Beatles or the Stones or the Who, where you've got just this huge evolution of style that went on over decades, and this high quality level that just continued. So it would have been interesting to see what he was doing, if he was still making music now, what it would have turned into.
He told numerous people that he was going to change, that he was tired of screaming, he was tired of all the shouting and the loud music, and he wanted to do quiet, pretty music. And so where he would have gone, I don't know. He was talking quite a bit about collaborating with other people. He wanted to collaborate with Michael Stipe. He even had joked about collaborating with Bono, So there's so many things you could have imagined him doing in the course of his life. Sadly, we'll never get a chance to see what the outcome of that would have been.
And it still bothers me. It bugs me. It does all kinds of things to me to think that I'm not going to hear any more of his music any more than I'm not going to hear any more Jimi Hendrix or Jim Morrison or Janis Joplin or any of the other musicians that I've written obituaries about. To say that he's a loser, don't say it unless you're standing there in the exact same circumstances and with all of those feelings and all of those troubles literally in your face. If you've confronted it and moved on, maybe you've got more to say about it than I do. But no one person confronts the exact same feelings, terrors, emotions, circumstances like that.
If he were alive today, I would hope that he would still be playing music and that he would still be doing art, and I would hope that he would have conquered his demons and would not have just dropped out of life somewhere and be lying around somewhere being miserable.
It would have been tremendously interesting if he was still around now making records, because probably he wouldn't be selling very many, but they'd probably be pretty good because he was good at doing it. One of the last interviews he ever did, when he was talking about wanting to have a solo career like Johnny Cash, and he was excited about the fact that he just discovered, if you like, blues music and was really, really interested in going back to a basic sort of music and becoming a kind of almost like a, for want of a better word, a troubadour, doing it on his own. He had plans.
It'd be nice to eventually start playing acoustic guitars and be thought of as a singer and a songwriter rather than a grunge rocker, you know? Because then I might be able to take advantage of that when I'm older and sit down on a chair and play acoustic guitar like Johnny Cash or something, you know? And it won't be a big joke, but who knows?
This notion that, you know, he killed himself because he'd run out of ideas and he felt he was bankrupt, I think that's selling his musical loves a lot shorter than he deserves. You know, music was such a central part of his life. It was such a salvation to him that I don't think he ever ran out of the music. You know, he may have run out of reasons to make it or to stick around and make it, but he didn't run out of the music.
I really want to change our style of music. I want to do something different, really different, you know, and I want to have enough guts to do that. And if it alienates people, that's too bad.